Welcome back to another video. We are in the Open Ultra League, and today we're going to be featuring the Shadow Charizard with Ampharos and Virizion. So here we're met with a Mandibuzz. This Mandibuzz kind of have a neutral matchup against this Charizard. It is going to be able to throw the Dark Pulse first. We are able to survive that one, so we let it go. We go over the big Blast Burn damage, and here we just got to decide whether we want to win the lead or decide to let it go. They reveal that they have the Arrow Ace, and we try to save that energy on our Charizard and switch into the Ampharos. We tank a Dark Pulse, and then we're just gonna throw Troll Blaze here. We are gonna have to tank a move here. It is gonna be the Rock Slide, which is fine, and we're going to be able to throw this Brutal Swing here that does a little bit more damage, and we are able to get to another Brutal Swing here. So this Ampharos did its job. It did as much damage as it could, and now we can come in with our Virizion. We tank it Earthquake here because we resist all of its moves. We're going to try to farm down, and our opponent ends up leaving, probably because they have another something else weak to fighters in the back. So GG's to our opponent right there, and on to the next one. Here we're going to have the Shadow Charizard met with the Swampert here. This is Shadow on Shadow. We switch out into the Ampharos. Our opponent ends up throwing the move relatively quickly, so we don't show this first Hydro Cannon. And then they switch out, which is interesting. Well, they gave us enough energy so that we can possibly get to 2 Brutal Swings. You can see here, these Brutal Swings actually do enough damage to take out the Trevenant right there. So our opponent ends up switching out and then letting the lead go. So interesting play right there. Luckily for us, we have another counter to the Swampert with our Virizion. We don't have to shield any of this right now. And so at this point, we're looking to farm as much energy as possible with this Virizion. We're going to throw a move here just to make sure we don't go up to 100 energy. Here they actually end up shielding, which is interesting. They throw another charge move, I guess, to waste the time so they can switch out, and we are met with the Skelly. So here we're gonna go for the Blast Burn here. This Blast Burn does get shielded. Our opponent revealed that they had Disarming Voice, but this could also know Shadow Ball. So we want to make sure we throw this extra Blast Burn here. Doesn't quite KO, but the ensuing wing attacks does take it out. So here we decide to switch out into the Virizion, throw a Sacred Sword to get this low enough so that we can potentially use one charge move that we banked with the Shadow Charizard and take out this team here. So GG's to our opponent right there, coming back from a Shadow Swampert lead. Not bad. Next, we're going to be running into, let's see. We got the Shadow Charizard paired with the Typhlosion. This Typhlosion is running the Incinerate. We are going to have to shield this first one, just because in order to get to these other moves on optimal timing, we have to shield once. This allows us to get to another Dragon Claw, forcing a decision from our opponent whether to shield or not. And then now we have a decision to let this go or not. We survive that Blast Burn, and then we're able to get to another Dragon Claw. So we take out the Typhlosion correctly. We switch out because they have a Water type. We basically have 2 counters to them. They reveal that they have the Venusaur. This Venusaur is going to do really well against the Ampharos here, but at least we are able to throw neutral Brutal Swings back at this. It looks like they are able to survive the first Brutal Swing, and then we're going to be able to get to another Brutal Swing here for them to make a decision whether they want to shield or let this go. They actually let it go, and then they're going to try to farm down with their Greninja, which makes sense. And then now we reveal that we have the Virizion. So GG's to our opponent right there. We were just able to have the better team comp in the back because we did win the lead. So next game here, we are going to be facing the Defense Deoxys. This Defense Deoxys is going to be able to potentially throw Rock Slides, Psycho Boost, or Thunderbolt. All of the moves are pretty good. So it's very tricky to play against the Defense Deoxys. They could have the Psycho Boost and Dip. So we decided to just let it go because we did get a Blast Burn off, and in my mind, we saw this as an opportunity to farm down. They didn't allow that, so they switched out, and we counter swap into our own Virizion. The Virizion just walls this Obstagoon. It did reveal that it is running the Obstruct, so interesting to note, that's actually a little bit better for me, given that we are able to farm up more energy. So we undercharge there to get one more counter off, which is fantastic. Here we're going to throw the Stone Edge. This Stone Edge does KO the Defense Deoxys, and we actually are met with a Steelix. Ultra League Steelix is actually pretty interesting to deal with. Our opponent ends up shielding there, and now we have a decision to make. Do we shield here so that we potentially have enough health to throw energy later? So we let that first one go, and now we have a Steelix just going rampant, throwing a bunch of breaking swipes at us. Here we throw the Sacred Sword. We do get that shield, and then we actually just go for the back-to-back because we want this damage to go through. And unfortunately for us, we should have shielded something with our Ampharos so that we were able to get to another move. But we actually end up losing that game with 2 shields. Feels bad. If we had invested shields on the Ampharos, we would have been able to have a good chance to win. But here we go again. We are met with the Swampert. We switch into the Ampharos. The Ampharos users at this point know that Ampharos potentially... I'm sorry, the Swampert users at this point know that the Ampharos could be running Trailblaze. So at this point, I don't think it's a trick anymore, but we do threaten the grass move on the Ampharos. But our opponent ends up switching into the Snorlax. The Snorlax is going to be shielding here. Yep. So it does shield to maintain alignment. And now here, we're probably going to come in with the Charizard. Yep. Because we don't want to see this Charizard to... Oh, they go for the combo play. I was going to say, we don't want to see it against that Swampert. Our opponent ends up switch locking themselves, but they stored up so much energy, they were able to get to back-to-back Hydro Cannon. So at this point, we're going to try to catch this next Hydro Cannon. Perfect. We did have to spend 2 shields just to keep that Charizard alive. We'll see if it ends up paying off. At this point, we're going to try to get as much energy as possible with this Virizion. Even though our switch timers are kind of misaligned, they go for the Earthquake right here. We go for this Sacred Sword here. I don't think this will KO. It'll barely not KO, and then possibly we can farm it down. Okay. They are able to get to another Hydro Cannon. But we are able to farm it down, so our opponent ends up having the Surfetched. So Surfetched with the shield here is going to be able to probably... well, it's going to shield this for sure, but we got to hope this Dragon Claw here is able to take out the Surfetched, or it's going to go crazy on us. Unfortunately, it does not. This Night Slash is going to take us out because we are Shadow, and they do get the boost there. So GG's to our opponent right there. Check out this team if you haven't, and let us know if you enjoyed the video.